And I actually, if I'm with a person for like 8 hours straight, I get irritated, like irritable. And I'm like, okay, you need to go. And I'll find, like, I'll literally just go to the bathroom and start singing. Like, I need to sing. And so when someone's around, you don't feel like, can't really sing. So I'm like, I want to live alone. Also, I was with my narcissist boyfriend when I bought this house, and so funny. I literally love myself. I'm so funny. He was like, I want to buy a house. I want to save for a house. And I'm like, yeah, I get you. You know what? I'm going to start saving for a house too. I was 19. I'm like, I'm going to start doing it too, babe, so I can buy a house with you. And then I was 19, right? Saving for a house. I bought this house at 20. Fuck. I'm crazy. Like, that's actually crazy. Wow, good for you, babe. Yeah, so then I was ready to buy a house because I don't like my dad, and I had to move back in with my dad. And I'm like, this sucks. I don't want to be here. I'm going to leave. And I was ready to buy a house, and I'm like, I have the funds for it. My mom's a real estate agent. So I'm like, Tracy, would you start showing me some homes, babe? And she's like, yeah. And you know, she only showed me houses within like a 5 kilometer radius. This house that I live at right now is the furthest house from my parents that we looked at. She's like, it's too far. It's too far. I don't know if you can do. It's 12 minutes away. It's 12 minutes away. 12 minutes from door to door. So no, we're fine. But it was funny. My boyfriend at the time was like, I can't buy it. I can't buy a house right now. And I'm like, oh, frig, I can. And so I did. And then here was the funniest part. So I bought the house in March, but I couldn't move in until June. And him and I previously talked about me moving into his house, into his apartment. Well, of course, when we started talking about it, he was like, these are all your rules that you would have if we lived together. You can't wear whatever you want. You have to stay in the room and ask to come out, because it depends on who's out here, because I'm just going to have my friends over whenever I want. I don't have to ask you or tell you, and you are not allowed to be wearing whatever you want when your friends come over. And I was like, I'm not going to live here, obviously. And he said, what? I'm like, obviously I cannot live here because that doesn't work for me. Like, no. And so when I bought this house, yeah, I was like, obviously we can't live together if you're going to have all these rules. Yeah, so this needs to be both of yeah, he was a narcissist, okay? And I was aware of this, but I was like, I'm not falling for it. And so I'm like, no, bro, no, we're not doing that. And so then when I bought this house, he had a roommate at his old apartment who was kind of like, literally the day that I bought this house, I moved in June 18th, okay? His roommate told him, he's like, hey, I got a new place. I moved out of here June 18th. And he was like, Paige? And I'm like, what? What? That's crazy. That's crazy that you're gonna have to find a new roommate so soon. That's literally crazy. And then he did. He found a whole new roommate. He did not live here. He did not live in my home because I knew, first of all, I knew if he lived in my house, he was not going to get out. And I knew that we shouldn't be together. We had been dating for 2 years at this point. We'd broken up 15 times, you know, like we shouldn't be together. I actively hated him. But thank God it wasn't like, it was like a month after I got my house that he came over and he just dropped the mask. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. He dropped the mask completely and just went off on me. And I knew it was only a matter of time after I bought a house that he would have a problem, because he had huge like power problems. And I also do. I also am like, yeah, I am in control of me, right? I'm autistic and a bitch. Autistic and also a bitch. And then he came over one night and just started ripping at me and just started telling me how dumb I am and saying I'm like the stupidest person ever. He was also very, very transphobic, and we were having a lot of like transphobic conversations where like he would just be like, There was like, he was insinuating that I was a man and like transitioning, and he's like, I'm super straight, so I only like, it was so stupid. And I'm like, no, do you hear how dumb you sound? You don't understand what super straight even means. Like, then I'm always gonna be a girl too. Like, what are you saying? Anyway. And then anyway, he was just like,